like number 30 had some fresh legs, or what did you just make of that performance?
I mean, what can you say? It was 10 for 13 after not playing in an NBA game for a month. And even, the other team went 15 for 21. Even they were hot just because Steph was in the building. Steph makes everybody shoot better, I think. It's crazy. But that was remarkable. I mean, just to do what he did in 25 minutes, to come out the way he did, it looked like he didn't skip a beat. And that's hard to play, in a game when you haven't played in a game for a month and all you've played basically is 3-on-3. But he just makes it look so easy, and you can feel it in the building. Everything's different. Tempo, the energy, the crowd's going nuts, and Steph is he's special.
Steve, there was a moment in the third quarter timeout, I believe it was, when he was standing right in there with you coaches.
Yeah.
What was the exchange like there? I'm guessing he wanted to keep playing.
Yeah, he wanted to keep playing, and he was hot, and I was fighting my instinct. My instinct was to get him out. We talked about playing him in 6 or 7 minute bursts, but I called the training staff over and I said, he's pleading his case. Are we okay to leave him out there? And they said, yeah, give him another couple minutes. And I was hoping we wouldn't have to put him back in the game, but we did because Memphis played well and stayed with us, and so we gave him those last few minutes in the fourth. But he definitely talked me into leaving him out there for a few minutes.
Hey, Steve, I know you said the other day that nothing shocks you about Steph, but I mean, coming into this, what were your expectations of what he might do?
I told you he might make 10 in a row. I don't know if he did. 13 for 17, so he was close. But, yeah, I mean, most guys you would say, when they come back, maybe they'll struggle a little bit to find their rhythm. But you don't say that about Steph because all it takes is one, and he can be feeling it.
Coach, just wanted to ask about the Draymond ejection. What did you see in that 3-minute span? You got the tech first and then the second one after that.
I don't know. Everything happened at the far end of the floor. On the second one, all I saw was he waved his hand. I don't know what he said. It didn't look like it warranted an ejection, but I was, 100 feet away, so it's hard for me to really tell you what happened, but it seemed like a quick trigger.
Obviously, this game belonged to Curry, but Zaza Pachulia was pretty outstanding as well. What was your impression of his play tonight?
Zaza was great. Obviously, got going offensively. A lot of that had to do with the gravity of Steph. People were jumping out at Steph deep on the perimeter, and KD for that matter, and Zaza was slipping into that pocket and doing a nice job. Catching, swinging the ball, scoring. I think he had 6 assists. So I thought Zaza was fantastic, and it's too bad that Steph stole his night. That's Zaza's lot in life. He's just Zaza, but we like our Zaza.
Steph played 8 minutes in that first quarter run. Was that the extent of what you want? Was a little more than you were looking to go, and how did you think his wind was?
Slightly more, but it wasn't like there was anything with his ankle that was keeping him from playing longer. It was just his wind. I was most concerned about him getting a little bit tired and then maybe compensating and something else, pulls a muscle or something. So I just it wasn't a hard minute number that we were looking at. It was more, tell us how you feel. We'll see how you look. So we went a little bit beyond what we expected to, but there wasn't any risk involved because he's healthy.
Coach, Gasol played a very good game tonight. Also, last night, Dwight Howard also has a very, very good game. So how do you see in that center position what's moving forward, how the game will change from Warriors' point of view?
Well, I mean, this is the NBA, so you got great players. You're talking about 2 all-star players, and Dwight had kind of a throwback night last night. He looked like his dominant self from a few years ago. He may not be able to do that every night, but he's very capable. And then, Marc Gasol is Marc Gasol. So it's the NBA. So you just go out and you compete and you do what you can, but the other team's got great players too.
But do you see the center position, how Warriors will react to guarding those bigs down in the post?
We have plenty of options. We've got Zaza if we want to put a big body on centers. We've got JaVale with his length. We can go smaller with Draymond or Jordan, and each night's a little different, and we just try to figure it out.
Hey, Steve, obviously there's a lot of time between now and Wednesday's game in Dallas. So what are you and the training staff kind of monitoring to determine whether Steph can increase his minutes for next go-around?
I guess just his pain and swelling, and we'll see if there's any of that tomorrow, and just basic stuff. But I think it's good for him to have the rest, and he'll probably be a little sore tomorrow. I'm not talking about his ankle. I'm just talking about his body because he's, this is the first time again that he's played in a month. So we'll see how he recovers. But I like the way the schedule pans out. That gives him some time.
You talked a little bit about what Steph brings to this team. Does he bring something different to this league than anybody else in the NBA does?
He brings something different than anybody ever has, to be honest with you. There's been plenty of guys who dominate the game in different ways. You think of Shaq or, overpowering people, or Michael Jordan, combination of power and skill and tenacity. But nobody's ever tilted the floor like Steph does at such a deep range and with such incredible ball handling skills. So it's crazy what he does to the defense. As a coach, you try to come up with a scheme to force the ball into certain areas and shrink the floor, and you got all these expressions that coaches use. And Steph kind of blows all that stuff out of the water. Schemes kind of go awry when Steph's on the floor because it's hard to account for 35 feet of perimeter space rather than 25 like most people. I don't remember anybody ever impacting the game the way that Steph does in that regard. And then you add just the entertainment value. You could hear the building tonight, and everything just looks better. The food in there is going to taste better tonight. My wife's going to be even better looking than she already is. My kids are going to be happy. Steph just, he has that impact. It's the way it is. He's a franchise player for a reason, and it goes, on and off the court, and what he does for this franchise is just crazy.
You kind of answered my question, but just the joy and the fun, and
Yeah.
this place felt different tonight.
It did, yeah. That's it. It's the impact on the game, but it's not just the point total. It's the joy and the fun that he brings, the excitement, and he's a brilliant player and one of the most entertaining, exciting players you'll ever see, and that's why we're lucky to have him. Thank you.